Yourself in the mirror on the restroom door. Voices in her head that mirror what she's heard before.
Hey beautiful people, it's your girl Shakima. I'm just stopping in for a quick Astro analysis for you guys for the week of the 4th of October right the way up until the 10th of October. We've got a lot going on this week. We are effectively coming out of retrograde season, so there's a lot of movement happening, and all of this is taking place whilst Mercury is actually in retrograde in Libra. So I wanted to dive into it to see what's actually going to be unfolding for us for this week. So if you're interested, stick around and stay tuned. Before I do get into all of the awesomeness that are the insights in this video, definitely be sure to give the video a thumbs up if you like my vibe and you want to be a part of the tribe. Do subscribe. I'd love to have you as a part of the gang, and be sure to comment down below and let me know how you guys are actually navigating through the energies of this retrograde season, how you found your lessons, what lessons you've actually sort of learned during this Pisces full moon, upgrades of your subconscious programming, and how those things are actually unfolding for you at the minute. I'd love to know all of that awesome stuff in the comment section below, guys. And without further ado, let's go and dive into it, my loves. Right, guys, so before we actually sort of dive into the unfoldings of the the planets, some of the outer planets going direct this week, we actually start the week on the 4th of October, the work week that is, on the 4th of October with the moon in Virgo, kind of cleaning up the last little bit of karmic unfolding that we've been navigating through. We would have probably had an action-packed, class or season during this Pisces full moon, because that kind of took place during Virgo season. They're both opposing signs, so it did sort of mean that we had to look at more of the finer details of some of the lessons that we've learned. What are some of the things that we think that we're not doing but we're actually doing at an energetic level maybe, or it may be something that we're still navigating through on a mental level. We're actually learning to fine-tune all of the other areas that may still be out of alignment. But this week we're clearing up a lot of that so that we can plant new seeds, my love, so we've got the moon in Virgo on Monday the 4th, as I mentioned, but one of the first, events of this week is the new moon in Libra. So we've got the new moon in Libra, about 25 degrees of Libra, and this new moon in Libra is really going to be asking us to plant new seeds in those areas of the lessons that we've learned. Okay, so we've learned the lessons. What are some of the things that we're going to do differently? How are we going to utilize these, guidance effectively to be able to make different choices moving forward? And if so, in what way can we actually learn to balance our behavior to align with our intentions? Okay, so this new moon in Libra, I would probably recommend, I'd probably recommend a heart-centered sort of meditation. I'd also recommend a nice walk, is what I'm hearing. I'd recommend a nice walk on days during this week if you've got the time, just to get some fresh air. Things might feel a little bit claustrophobic, it might feel a little bit high intensity as far as the pressure levels mentally for some of us, emotionally for others. You might want to just take a walk, 5-10 minutes, get some fresh air, get your body active and moving and flowing. If you're not able to take a walk and that's not something that you can do, just taking 5 minutes to do some breathing exercises would definitely help to just center and refocus the mind as we're going through a lot of this karmic clear out. Once we've unpacked some of the lessons, because some of the patterns that we find ourselves in, they keep repeating because certain parts of the lessons isn't necessarily being learned effectively. So what we need to do now is try to put the things that we've learned into place and put that into practice and make anew for this new reality that we're trying to manifest and experience as a result of the urgency that we're feeling. For the new moon in Libra, I definitely recommend you kind of make a list. As per usual, this is time for you to set your intentions, put your petition into the universe, let the gods, the guides, the angels know what it is that you want them to be helping you to work on, potentially for the next 6 months or so until the Libra full moon. So we're in October right now, so that would probably take us round to, if I'm not mistaken, about April roughly, for the Libra full moon. And that would then give you an opportunity to kind of give yourself a 6 months time span of, I guess, short and long term goals that you can work towards within that 6 months, you know, stuff that you can build towards your long term goals within the next 6 months, and stuff that you can actually put into place for short-term goals as far as within the next 3 months or so. So really fine-tuning some of the things that you've learned. What are some of the things that you learn in your friendship dynamics, in your romantic partnerships, in your business relationship with yourself, your business relationship with others? How have you identified parts of yourself that may be out of alignment with your very best version of yourself, and what can you do to implement some effective, definitive actions into place to be able to navigate through, I guess, some of these behavioral quirks. Okay, moving on to the days of this week. So we've got the new moon in Libra, like I said, on the 6th, which is on Wednesday. So that takes us right up to, I guess, midweek, hump day vibe. So be mindful if you do find yourself having a dip, the hump day spirit kind of taking over you. I guess that's something that we've developed as collective consciousness. So if you find yourself in those types of situations as well, it's definitely a good time to be able to find the balance in what it is that your low vibrations are trying to show you by identifying maybe what lessons you've learned in those situations. Those are always something to help elevate our consciousness, and it helps to raise our vibrations as a result. So if you find yourself lapsing mentally or emotionally on things that may have showed up for you maybe in the last few weeks during this Pisces full moon season, potentially for some of you guys the entire retrograde season, there might have been a lot of tides that have shifted and moved out and inwardly as you've been aligning yourself. So if you find yourself, I guess, re-observing some of those actions, it's definitely helpful to ensure that you're feeding your body effectively. So making sure that you're eating foods that you not only enjoy, but foods that puts back into your body, foods that you're also advising what you want them to do to your body, telling your drink essentially how you want it to be able to work with your body, telling your food how you want it to be able to energize your body, just really getting consciously into the process of this reality that you're creating. This Libra new moon is going to really help you to, I guess, push forward in a more balanced state. So some of your old programming will no longer apply where you're moving forward. So thankfully, we had the Pisces full moon to help us with the defects and degenerative, there we go guys, because they were showing me the word, the degenerative traits of your character that may not have been allowing for the parts of your universe to come together. On the actual 6th, the day that we've got the new moon in Libra, we also have the Pluto direct transit sort of taking place. So Pluto was actually retrograde in Capricorn for some time, guys, since retrograde season has been sort of taking place. So Pluto's actually going back direct in Capricorn, around about 19 degrees of Capricorn to be precise. And it's going to give us an opportunity to really be able to let those subconscious programmings that we've actually been experiencing in the last several months, really let some of those reprogramming start to come to the forefront of the conscious mind. We've been working deeply at the subconscious with Pluto being in retrograde for the last several months. Now we're getting an opportunity to be able to come out of that with some new ideology, some new philosophies on how to engage in our different relationships, our romantic partnerships, our friendships, our business relationships, our family dynamics. We've been learning in these classes essentially, so it's time to put those things into practice, because on the 7th we actually have Venus entering Sagittarius, giving us an opportunity to really create from those newfound philosophies, from those newfound ideologies, really putting passion towards that, giving us an opportunity to really connect to some of those new philosophies and ideologies in a new way, almost in a way to be able to help us reshape the way in which we're actually navigating through the circumstances that we may have perceived to be a negative. We might now be seeing how we've been strengthened by those experiences. We might now be looking at the way that others may have flourished by those experiences, and potentially we may be able to identify why those experiences were a natural part of the evolution process for some of us as well. Be sure to listen out. I'm hearing that the guides are really going to be sort of speaking in the realms of the heavens, are going to be singing in high vibrations, so definitely allow for yourself to be, I guess, tuned in enough to those layers and levels of consciousness. I understand it's been a really, really tumultuous time as navigating through a lot of these changes in this new decade. This is the first year of the 2020 decade, so I know that there was a lot to kind of navigate through during this retrograde season as far as like the outer planets. We've still got a lot going on, so I'm not trying to give you guys false hope, but we do have Saturn going direct as well this week on the 10th of October on the final day. So on the Sunday, we'll actually have Saturn going direct in Aquarius. Now, Saturn initially went retrograde in Capricorn and kind of went really, really deep into maybe re-evaluating the way that we are working ourselves or overworking ourselves with some of our ideologies that may be entangled with other people's perspective, other people's philosophies, other people's ideologies, maybe societal pressures, potentially there has been a lot of feelings of lack of self-worth during this Saturn retrograde transit. For a lot of us, I know for myself, Saturn went retrograde last year in Capricorn as well. That was in my Saturn return, and that happened again this term, except Saturn went so far back on its axis in terms of movement to really go back and go to a concept of in retrospect, essentially, to the point of Aquarius, going back to looking at how our attachments to our family dynamics and our friendships and our attachment to the way in which we want to be perceived by society, really reconstructing that. Saturn was really asking us to take a deeper look and understand, are you really working to your full potential, or are you still finding the challenges that you're navigating through, manifesting through the cultivation of other people's desires, intentions, expectations over your life? And it was a very intricate lesson for us to sort of navigate through, because it was all about our introspective work at that level. We really had to pull our emotional entanglement and our psychological entanglements apart. What feelings were we carrying of other people? What thought processes were developing and cultivating as a result? Were we nurturing these types of low vibrations? What are some of the positive things that we've taken away from some of the relationships that we've engaged with? How has that helped to shape that next best version of ourselves, and how can we continue to nurture that and cultivate that equally as well? Just before Saturn actually goes direct on Sunday, 2 days prior, on the 8th of October, which is the Friday, sort of closing out the work week, we do have Ceres going retrograde in Gemini, 8 degrees of Gemini. So this is going to give us an opportunity to essentially tap into another layer of perspective when it comes to our shadows. Some of the victim mentality that we've been sort of running with, the victim programming that we've been running with, some of that may need to be readdressed and reobserved and relooked at, I guess, during this Ceres retrograde in Gemini season. That's actually taking place at 9:33 p.m. So just looking at the numerology there, it's really going to be helping us to activate further in our Christ consciousness, to activate our light, get a deeper understanding of some of the false narratives, as far as the stories told by our shadows, dependent on what shadow is speaking on the experience and why, and maybe pleading a case within yourself from more of a joyful perspective on the situation. It's definitely going to be, I want to say, cloudy forecast as far as emotionally. We're definitely going to be having an upward climb during this week from what I'm sort of sensing and feeling in the space. but at the same time, it also feels as though you're actually, us as a collective, we're going through this philosophical upgrade that is almost going to help us to be able to push forward. We needed to go through the changes that had actually taken place during the retrograde seasons. Those things were necessary. They were absolutely intentional. They were by no means coincidence. They came with reason and for a purpose, and that purpose has been written on your heart, and there's a process of the purpose unfolding, and the stories and the unfolding of the stories is a part of the journey, essentially. So what I would say to you, my loves, is to make sure that as you're navigating through the energies of this week, you're taking the time to nurture your mind and nurture your heart. One isn't more important than the other. Both are necessary for the human experience, and it's about working in cohesion with each other. So it's about being able to communicate, being able to understand, overstand, understand from the intricate places of yourself. It's about having an intimate relationship with yourself. The one thing that I would say is definitely going to be necessary this week is gratitude. Gratitude for all of the things that you've been able to overcome this week, all of the journeys of temptations that you've overcome, all of the darkness of the valley moments that you've experienced. Give thanks for those moments. Praise God that you have, by His grace and mercy, seen it through, and that is now your testimony for another week, moving into the unfolding of this week as we come out of retrograde season for Pluto and Saturn. My loves, we actually sort of close out this week with the moon, by the looks of it, in Sagittarius. So Venus enters Sagittarius on the 8th of October, on the 7th, of October. That would be on the Thursday. So Venus enters October on the 7th, and we're actually, Venus enters Sagittarius on the 7th, and we're actually closing out the week with the moon in Sagittarius. Again, just really giving us an opportunity to fine-tune some of those philosophical upgrades, and allowing us to be able to get ourselves ready for the momentum that is about to pick up now that the outer planets are going to be moving in a direct axis. Okay, my loves, I hope you guys enjoy the momentum. I hope you guys are prepared for the quick movements that may be unfolding with these outer planets now going direct. And I hope that you guys are in a place where you believe that you absolutely deserve all of the amazing, wonderful blessings that are about to be bestowed upon you. Okay, my loves, on that note, I'm going to love you guys and leave it there for you guys. Definitely be sure to comment down below, as I mentioned, and let me know how you guys have been able to effectively utilize the info to navigate through the energies of this week. You'll definitely find me back here again for a pick a crystal reading for the new moon in Libra taking place on Wednesday. So be sure to stay tuned and watch out for that. And if you haven't already done so, and you are definitely feeling my vibe, my love, feel free to join the tribe. I'd love to have you. Subscribe and hit the notification bell, that way you can be kept in the know when I do upload these awesome videos for you guys. Okay, my loves, on that note, I'm going to love you guys and leave it there for you guys. Have an amazing week, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, my loves, namaste. God bless.
They said to hold her back, they never seem to leave her head, and tend to keep her mind at war. All the things they said to hold her back, they keep her locked inside of all the times when she's been hurt before.